Hi, welcome back. Well, it's a privilege and a pleasure to have in the studio here with me today John Grinsell from Aussie Christian Gigs. How are you, John?
Yeah, good. Great to be here.
Yeah, that grin and gigs thing nearly tripped me up there.
That's right. Yeah, we like to grin. And we like to put a smile on people's face too.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you focus on Christian music in particular?
That's right. Yeah, we're called Aussie Christian Gigs, and we're Aussie. We focus on Christian music,
okay.
And of course, when we're talking about Christian music, it could be bands that call themselves Christians, or it could be bands or artists that are out there playing in pubs and things that are known as Christians.
Okay. And are you focused on a particular geographical area, or is this a sort of a coast to coast?
We focus. We call ourselves Aussie, so we focus on Australia. So we're trying to promote gigs and bands across Australia.
Oh wow! So Perth to Byron Bay, Cairns to Hobart.
That's right.
Anything is possible. So are you focusing on particular genres of music? I mean, if I was in a string quartet, for example, would I be sort of jumping on the Aussie Christian Gigs Facebook site and trying to promote myself
We're
there?
focusing if it's involved with music. And you've got an event, music, Christian music, we focus on that and we promote it from our Facebook page.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah.
It's a broad church, as they say.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, I've been wondering over the last couple of years, is Christian music, particularly in Australia and New Zealand, I guess, is it on its last legs? Is it dying? I mean, just, a month or so ago, we had Easterfest announcing that their annual festival is no more. So 2016 there'll be no Easterfest.
That's right.
A couple of years ago it was Parachute in New Zealand, and the Black Stump in Sydney. That festival's also gone. Do these sort of closures spell the end of Aussie Christian music?
No, certainly not. I suppose on the upside we've got bands like Hillsong United and Hillsong Young and Free. They're going busters
poised
overseas.
Poised to take over the world.
Yeah, that's right. They're poised to take over the seas. So, and you've got another one, another Australian band over in Nashville called for King and Country.
Okay.
Rebecca St James. So there's a lot of Christian artists actually around Australia doing very well. And we talked about you mentioned Easterfest and the festival sides of things. Of course, let's start off with Easterfest. We've seen, of course, they announced they had, and I was up there this year. They announced that that's the biggest Christian festival of around Australia. They probably had 10 or 20 or 30,000 attending that. That went for 17 years. They used to bring major overseas artists to come over here, like this last one. They brought Switchfoot over, and it was just amazing for Aussie Christian artists, because they would give them opportunities to play at Easterfest. Probably about 50 or 60 Aussie Christian bands or artists would come in. So of course they announced there was a decline in there had a bit of rain over the number of years, and you get the people through the gates. They couldn't sustain that. They're really hoping that something else fresh will start from that. And that's what we've seen you mentioned even Parachute. Parachute was over in New Zealand. That was a huge event. Now, they had to close down because of similar gate things. But what's happened as a part of that is that that's closed down. There's two new festivals started at the same time. And you mentioned Black Stump. Well, Black Stump's been going for over 20 years. I know, we've been to Black Stump for my children have been to Black Stump for many years, and they've grown up through Black Stump and they were just fantastic events. They're finished up. The good point about it is another festival has started. So this year, it's called Beyond Festival. Okay. It will be starting down in Canberra. It's based on a justice theme. There's still a Christian content there, but so it's all going well.
I've been watching that. Actually, it seems like it's going to be a very interesting festival.
Yeah. So certainly things are changing. Things are the world is moving. Festivals are moving. What we're finding, and we probably read, particularly in the secular scene, with a lot of the big concerts, festivals too, they're finding the same things. So everything's adjusting, and everything's moving.
Do young people want to come out to see live music these days? Like if you have a cafe, or you're in a church hall, or you're at some venue putting on a concert, you are a young Christian band, are there audiences coming to those
Yeah,
events?
certainly. Yeah, particularly the sort of gigs and events we're promoting. We promote the big ones, and we promote the small ones in the youth cafes and things like that.
Now, John, right now you're involved in a particular project, a sort of a what would you call it? A mixtape, a CD of sort of various artists all together?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one of the projects, we work on projects all the time, but one of the main projects we're working on, we've just completed, probably after 2 years, is bringing together 13 quality Christian artists, contemporary Christian artists from across Australia, to form a compilation CD called the Aussie Hope.
Okay,
now,
the Aussie Hope. If I was interested in hearing samples from that or purchasing it, how would I go about that?
Well, you can just go onto. It's available on iTunes. So you just go onto iTunes and you put in the words Aussie Hope, and it'll call it up. But the great thing about Aussie Hope is that all the profits raised will go to the work of a mission called Live Connection. Now, Live Connection, they support people in third world, pastors and people in third world countries.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, the Aussie Hope project, it's showcasing 13 Christian artists that people might know about, but these are all quality recordings. It's a great album. It's a great listening album. It's not particularly, we focus not particularly on making it a rock album, but more an easy listening album. Yep. And of course, it's promoting the work of Live Connection, and all funding will go towards the people and the pastors in third world countries.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Now, John, you see this as a ministry. I know, for some of our audience, perhaps maybe some older people, they say young people playing loud music. It's like, it's just entertainment. What's ministry about that? How would you answer that?
What we're trying to do is we're trying to, through these events and things like that, is trying to encourage people to come along to a Christian event. Many people probably wouldn't just walk into the church. It's very foreign to them. But you might have a Christian gig or a Christian event, a band night on a Saturday night that a young person or, anybody, but particularly a young person might walk into, and from that point, they've actually been into a church. They think, oh, gee, it's not as foreign as we thought it was going to be. Yeah. And they meet friends, and from there they can go on and become part of the church and the youth group.
And I guess you're also ministering to the bands themselves, aren't you? Like helping them develop their talents and to find those opportunities to, act on their gifts.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's part of the ministry of Aussie Christian Gigs. We want to. There's a lot of young bands out there, and of course, from what we said before, bands like Hillsong United and Hillsong Young and Free have actually come out of youth groups to be very. So you can get 13 and 14 and 15-year-olds forming up bands from their worship teams or something like that, and they get together and we just provide them, once they formalise their band, we provide them further support and direction on how to go about promoting themselves, how to make themselves look good on their, if they've got a Facebook page, and how to go about connecting and finding other gigs. So we're there, and we get message on our Facebook page all the time saying, well, what do we do here? What do we do here? So we just provide them a bit of support from our point of view, and they basically appreciate it, because there's no one out there. There's not a lot of other people out there who are interested in that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so if you're a young band out there, or maybe a friend or relative of a young band, check out Aussie Christian Gigs on Facebook, and you might get chatting to John, or certainly have an opportunity to promote your event. Hey, thanks so much, John. I really appreciate you coming in and giving us a little bit of a profile of what you've been doing.
Great. Yeah, great to be here. Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
We'll see you after the break.